Hey, Rob. Good morning. I have a new update for you guys. We heard from City Council person Helena Moreno this morning. She tells us an update here in the case. She's going to have the state legislative auditor come in and do a complete review of all of the security protocol gaps, the procedures after an escape, and how the sheriff is spending the budget. She tells us for that to happen, a state legislator has to request that. So Helena Moreno teaming up with Representative Jason Hughes, they sent that letter to the legislative auditor last night to get that process going. So that's what today is about, right? Learning more about this investigation, walking back the timeline here, and learning how this all happened and why the public was not notified for hours thereafter. So on top of searching the city and now beyond for these inmates, Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson is now looking inward. She's launching an investigation into her own staff, her own deputies, to see what kind of role, if any, they may have played in this escape. And so far, she has suspended 3 deputies. We don't know the extent of their involvement, but we're standing by for more there. Now, Hudson says the jail right now is understaffed. They're operating at about 60% staffing. She says her top officials also say they were indicators that this could have been an inside job. We're hearing that Attorney General Liz Murrow will come in and investigate that portion as well to see if any more criminal charges need to be added here in this investigation. But the grand question on everyone's mind, how do 10 people escape the parish jail? Well, these are some photos from inside the first floor of the jail. They show one way that these inmates apparently defeated the system. The sheriff's office says the inmates broke through a wall behind a toilet that was out of view from deputies. They apparently did this after breaking a lock and forcing a sliding door to their cell off of its track. Now, while that jail is reportedly understaffed, one former New Orleans police second in command believes that if there were pressing security concerns, then Sheriff Hudson should have requested outside help before something like this.
And that's where your procedures and protocols will come into play.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
The resources that you have to make do with those resources, but you also have to make sure that your facility is secure. And don't be afraid to reach out for outside sources that may have to help you to do your job until those resources improve.
So we're told Sheriff Hudson is looking into those procedures, and as Councilmember Moreno tells us, the legislature.
So I'm going to let some people join, and we're going to talk about the updates. 3 people have been caught. Okay, so far, the murderers are apparently still on the loose. People that have been charged with murder, accused of murder, still on the loose. So there was 10 people that escaped, okay, from New Orleans jail. The people that escaped was Antoine Massey, Lenton, Leo, Kendall, Derek, Jermaine, Corey, Boyd, Gary, Robert, DeCannon. And 4 of these men have been charged with second-degree murder.
Suspension right now. So far, no criminal charges have been applied.
People
They're
suspended.
just on administrative leave now, but the sheriff is investigating what role her employees may have played. So in the meantime, you may be wondering, okay, what can I do today, this weekend? Keep your head on a swivel. Crime Stoppers tells us they are getting tips in, and it is helping officers. You can report any kind of information that may seem off to you. Maybe you see one of the inmates, or maybe you kind of recognize them from hanging out somewhere. You can call Crime Stoppers and give that information. The FBI has a specific tip line just for this investigation. You go to fbi.gov/New Orleans fugitives, and if you choose to do so, you can make those tips anonymously.
All right, Maddie, so it seems like a busy day today for those law enforcement sources who are going to be searching, for the remaining 7 inmates. It's a tall order. I know we've been talking about whether or not the sheriff's office has let us know if they're going to have a media briefing at some point. You're saying after speaking with them that they will talk to us, but only if there's another inmate captured. Is that correct?
Correct. So the sheriff's office communications folks, they tell me that there's no planned media briefing today, that we'll get an update from the sheriff when there is a substantial update to the case. But we are digging on our own, right, Rob? We're looking at social media. We're seeing state police post new images where they took those 3 recaptured inmates via helicopter to state prison. So we're starting to comb through and find some answers on our own. Even if the sheriff does not have media availability, we will still uncover more.
Trisha on Facebook says, did you see that news station I did a tour last year? They literally say there's a problem with the doors easily coming off the track. No way. Nothing like telling prisoners what's wrong with the jail. If you have a clip of that video, send it to me. Send me the thing. That'd be interesting to check out. All right, they're taking a little break. So let's talk about some of the updates. Good morning, everybody. Morning. Well, let's go through this little brief timeline first. And a lot of people are saying that, one, they think this is probably an inside job, but two, that this is just, I don't even know what the word was that they were saying. This just the way this happened and how nobody was notified and how this many people escaped is just unacceptable. And so we don't need a pretty press conference. We don't need excuses and making up stuff. These people need to be caught, and we need accountability, and people need to be held responsible. And so 8:30 a.m., supposedly the sheriff learns inmates escaped. They escaped like at 1 o'clock in the morning. They didn't find out until, I guess, supposedly 8:30 in the morning. Sheriff learns inmates escaped. 9:53 a.m., one of the news stations receives a tip of escaped inmates. At 9:55 a.m., the news station reached out to the sheriff and NOPD about the escape. They were not aware of an escape. Okay. At 10:23, the news station breaks the story that several inmates escaped. Then at 11 is when the public is notified. That's crazy. That's crazy. 11:22, Kendall Myers captured in the French Quarter, confirmed by WSU, by Council VP Helena. At 11:30, Sheriff Susan Hudson holds a news conference, but doesn't allow media, not allowed to ask questions. All right. Then at 11:40, NOPD confirms Kendall was caught. At 1:37, they released a photo of a hole dug by the inmates, that infamous picture, which we all saw yesterday. These people were literally laughing at the cops, trolling the cops, or whoever's coming to find them, or the people in jail, the staff, okay, by laughing at them and eat too easy, LOL, just pushed this thing over and got right out. At 2:34, they released a citywide alert on inmates escaped, warning the public, which really, this shit should have been at 8 something in the morning, maybe even at midnight. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, they should have issued some type of alert. And a citywide alert is put out at 2:34 p.m. And then Susan updates that update on escaped inmates. They allow one question. So we have one question at a time like this, where murderers are on the loose in your streets. You're limited to one question per news outlet. Then they confirmed 10 inmates only escaped, because at first they said 11 inmates escaped, but the one guy was actually still locked up. He never escaped. So they had to retract it and say, okay, it's 10, not 11. What a mess. And the press conference we saw last night, there was kind of a little bit of drama. There was some drama last night. That one guy was hot. And the Riddler last night. Did I save that clip? I think I might have saved this somewhere. We had the Riddler last night, too. The Riddler's on the case. Let me see. Is it this video? Which video is it? I thought I saved it, but I don't know. Let me see. The Riddler. The lady with them glasses came out. Maybe I didn't save it. I thought I had it somewhere. The Riddler. No, I don't know how to have it saved. I could probably go find it from last night's live. Let me see. We'll give it a minute. It's early. I don't think I had notifications. So you guys tell me if I had notifications. Do you guys get a notification this morning or no? No notifications. All right. So we're running raw. We're running Diddy. A Diddy this morning. No notifications. No columns. All right. Saturday morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for those that made it. Thank you for those that are signed up to the mailing list. It really helps me out. That's why I need people to do that. Yeah, no notifications this morning. That's fine. So last night, I'll just skip it. We're not gonna watch the whole thing. There was drama though. There was that one reporter. I want to check on that guy today. I hope he's alive. I hope he's okay. He probably got banned from that news press conference thing. Last night, they brought out this lady. I guess she's the Riddler. They brought out the Riddler last night. You guys remember this? This lady came out.
Good afternoon, all. I am Major Stephanie Minter Gibson, and I oversee the Crime Victims Unit for the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office. Once I was notified about the escapees, I immediately gathered a team of experienced staff, and we started calling victims and survivors just to make sure that they are aware of what was going on and that they are safe.
I like that glass.
For the records
they're a little much.
that had no information, I immediately reached out to our partners. Partners such as NOPD Special Victims Unit, Detective Walton, who was very grateful in helping us, and she provided us with other information that we were able to call those families and help.
I spilled water on my keyboard. Oh, God. Let me just tip this thing over. Oh, man. Water and ice. Perfect. Hopefully this is waterproof. I don't know. Okay. The Riddler last night.
Once we finished the first batch of victims, we started calling the second batch. And actually, the reason why I'm saying that is because I separated them. The chief from the DA's office, victims, Alison Morgarder, reached out to me, and we both were calling victims. What she had and I did not have, we shared information, and we both gathered all the information, and we made sure all victims.
They said she looks like the Riddler. Cicada woman. Oh, cricket eyes. Oh, gosh.
Were aware of what was going on. Most of the victims were very grateful for the calls. They graciously thanked us. We additionally sent our detectives to their homes for more safety measures, and that alone speak measures. I strongly encourage all to educate the community on the importance of VineLink. This is a free app that is listed online, and it is also a guide for victims and survivors to track offenders while they navigate the criminal justice system.
That was last night, the Riddler. Okay, oh, they're talking. And let's get to the update today. Sorry, I kind of made a mess over here. Discombobulated a little bit, but.
Here with more, Caitlin, what do we do after escaping from a New Orleans jail on Friday? Local law enforcement officials warning the public not to approach any of the individuals as
these are the people captured. Kendall Miles, 21, Robert Moody, 21, and DeCannon Dennis, 24. The murderers are still on the loose. 4 murderers.
they might be armed and dangerous. News Nation's Caitlin Becker is here with more. Caitlin, what do we know about these inmates?
Hannah, this is shocking. You don't see this every day. Only 3 of these inmates have been captured, with more than 200 law enforcement personnel assisting the investigation. Officials still searching for 7 others, some charged with murder, who escaped in a brazen jailbreak overnight Friday. And the shocking security breach suggests it may have been an inside job. Dramatic video. I mean, look at this from inside the New Orleans prison.
Felony Friday, man. Look at how happy these guys look to get out. Oh, shit.
Dramatic video. I mean, look at this from inside the New Orleans prison. Shows some of those inmates trying to pry open a door and scaling a fence before running out of the facility as fast as they could onto a nearby highway. Now, photos reveal the inmates used a hole behind a toilet to escape, and they left taunting messages, one reading, quote, "Too easy, LOL." Now, making matters worse, authorities didn't know anyone was missing until about 7 hours later when they took the morning head count. That's when they realized some of the occupants weren't there. Now, it didn't take long before the first of the escapees was apprehended following a brief chase through the French Quarter. 2 more inmates were also captured. One of them, thanks to a Crime Stoppers tip, and the other was caught using facial recognition technology. Law enforcement is asking the public to share any information that they may have in helping arrest the remaining fugitives. They're offering a $2,000 reward for an arrest of each of those, and the FBI is offering $5,000. Now, I will also add that this concern is happening as Tulane University holds graduation ceremonies today.
7 hours is quite the head start. We mentioned earlier that 3 of the employees from the jail are suspended. Why? Is it an inside job? What are we learning?
Well, that's certainly the thought here, Hannah. Authorities say that it is almost impossible to escape the facility where almost 1,500 people are being held without getting any kind of help.
We think this was intentional. There is much more than meets the eye in this investigation. And why did it happen just right now, right? In the middle, as we're getting ready to start this sheriff's race. This is very suspicious. We know that they had help. We're showing you they had help. This was coordinated. There's much more than meets the eye.
The sheriff's race may be suggesting there's a political angle there. Now, as officials try to piece together what happened, we are learning that one of the pods where the inmates were being held was unmanned for quite a bit of time. A civilian technician was around, but then had to step away to get some food. And that is when jail officials say the inmates made a break for it. The sheriff telling reporters that the facility had faulty locks and that she had asked for the money to fix the prison's ailing infrastructure, adding that they are woefully understaffed and underfunded. Now, as you can imagine, this facility is facing a lot of criticism as a result of this fallout. The state's attorney general calling the escape, quote, beyond unacceptable, and that the inexcusable failures have put lives in danger. Now, residents are being warned, if there is anyone helping or harboring these escapees, you will be charged.
Caitlin Becker, thank you so much. This is a shocking story.
Absolutely.
I know you'll keep an eye on it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Wow. Mama mia, mama mia, mama mia. Here's one of the pictures here. This is OPSO jail escapee. Just 10 hours ago. Decannon Dennis captured and is in custody. He was apprehended near the Chief Mentor Highway and Dale Street. So they're looking for tips. Crime Stoppers, 504-822-1111. Call with your tips. There was another, I had it saved there somewhere. Was it Louisiana? Oh yeah, it was these people. They had some cool pictures over here. Louisiana State Police is on it. There's somebody right there arrested. This was 58 minutes ago. They posted this 58 minutes ago. Looks like they're taking somebody in, flying them out. An hour ago, yeah. Wow. Somebody say, wait, is that a bag on his head? Yes. We're torturing these motherfuckers. No, probably, what people are saying in the comments, he's probably a spitter. Probably a spitter. Tried spitting on somebody, so they put that around him. Now if he spits on himself. Oh, there's the helicopter taking off. Woo!
Human. People forget, and time.
Everything's Diddy, man. Everything today, everything all the next couple of weeks is going to be Diddy. These guys, let me see what other. So let me put their picture up on the screen here. I think a screenshot. I think I took a screenshot. Yeah. These are the guys captured. Let me get their criminal history. Last guy, let me see here too. Too easy. That's crazy. Catch us when you can. That's one of the messages these guys wrote. Catch us when you can. Too easy. LOL. Most hated G. A third man who escaped from prison has been taken back into custody. Buchanan Dennis was taken. Oh my God, it's so dramatic. He was taken back into custody. He was located on Dale Street. Damn. So Derek Groves, where's he at on the screen there? Derek Groves right there, 27 years old. See him up on the screen right there. Derek Groves. He was convicted of killing 2 people and shooting 2 others on Mardi Gras Day in 2018. He's on the loose. You haven't caught him yet. And that guy is probably not coming back without a fight. Derek Groves is probably never going to get out. Antoine Massey, where's Massey? Right here, 33 years old. Held on domestic abuse and vehicle theft charges with prior escapes dating back to 2007. Also wanted in St. Tammany Parish for taking somebody against their will and R. Then we got Lenton Van Buren. Let's see. 27. Accused of 2021 homicide in New Orleans East. And then Jermaine Donald, charged with attempted second-degree murder, aggravated battery, weapons violations, and obstruction of justice. Damn. Gary Price, 21 years old, wanted in connection with an attempted first-degree murder case. Leo Tate, (31 years old), awaiting trial on burglary, drugs, and weapons charges. And then Corey Boyd, accused of killing Brandon Fees during a car robbery. Wow. So the murderers haven't been caught. Accused murderers, they're on the loose. And they're probably not going to come back without a fight. Well, you never know. Sometimes they just give up, but I wanted to see about that video. The wanted. They should be doing, I think, a press conference today too. Oh, they had. Oh wait, I forgot I had a presser from, I think, last night. One after the one that we watched. Let's see. Yeah, we had this. I think this happened late last night. Let's check this out.
Right now, New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick is speaking about the escape.
Let's get right to her right now for the very latest.
Oh, YouTube, if you guys could help me out with the like button, please hit the like for me. I appreciate that. Let me get some water. I need some.
All right, what we're about to hear now is from NOPD. We're waiting for them to get set up here. This will be the 4th press conference, I believe, about this today.
Yeah, and we have Ann Kirkpatrick speaking right now. Let's listen in.
I wanted to begin by telling you that we have made progress today. We have 3 of the escapees are now in custody. We have active leads on the other escapees. We have approximately 200 agents, officers out there. People are talking. We appreciate that. We know that the second person that we got into custody was actually an actual Crime Stopper tip. And Darlene Cosenza will speak to you again at the close of this brief update for you. But the 3 people that we do have in custody are Kendall Miles, Robert Moody, and Keenan Dennis. Those are the three that are currently in custody. We want to remind people to call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111. We always say this, but it's very important that people understand we don't need your name. We don't want your name. We just want your information. And if it does lead to the capture of one of these escapees, it's $5,000 cash. And that is in addition to what the FBI is offering. And I will have the special agent in charge address that when he is ready. Earlier today, we have been very, very proactive as well here in OPD and with our partners. We made sure that our children were looked after. We sent NOPD cars out to the schools to have a high presence. We have removed at least a couple of people who had concerns for their safety. We got them in safe houses. You heard earlier in the earlier broadcast about the constables was stepping up to help make sure our judges who had some concern to be also protected and have a presence. We know of the three that were taken into custody, they were taken in New Orleans. But regardless of who or which agency actually makes the capture, whether it's the U.S. Marshals, FBI, NOPD, Sheriff, it does not matter. But we will deem all escapees as Louisiana state prisoners. They will be LSP's prisoners. They will not be booked into the Orleans Parish and other arrangements.
Yeah, the Orleans Parish is where they get out of. So this, I guess she's saying they're not going back to that same place. This is pretty wild, man. This is an embarrassment, too, for those officials. This is an embarrassment for those officials. I think that's why that sheriff is very defensive. And it's not just about, okay, it is about these people escaping, but not just that. It's about the lack of communication and the lack of telling the community, like, hey, there's these multiple people that escaped, killers, murderers that escaped, in some cases, ours, people that, you know, have forced themselves upon people.
10 inmates.
Which can be a danger to the community, a danger to lawyers. You know what I'm saying? What if one of these people want revenge?
At the Orleans Parish Jail were able to escape, and
there's some schools near this area.
Sheriff says that they started that escape by yanking a door off of its track. I'm Melissa Curtis. I work with WWL Louisiana. Earlier this year, about 2 months ago, we got a close look and a tour at the Orleans Parish Justice Center. They brought us inside and showed us all the issues that they say they're having over at the facility. One of those issues they mentioned were those doors. Now, representatives from the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office took us around and they showed us some of these sliding doors and said that it's not the best system that they are using right now. They say that those doors are easy to get off the track, but they need to maintain them in a certain way that they are properly secured, but they also can get in and out of those doors. So again, they pointed today during a press conference to those doors being pulled off of that track as a way that they were able to escape. While we were over at the jail earlier this year for that tour, they also spoke about several other issues that they are having in the facility. They say a lot of it needs upgrades, a lot of it is run down, broken. This was all part of a push to renew a millage that the OPSO has had in the past few years. That millage recently passed. But again, they showed us all these issues. But today I spoke with DA Jason Williams about the escape, and he says that the facility shouldn't really need all these upgrades. He says it's a fairly new building. While he was on the city council, they allotted a lot of money to this facility. So he says this isn't a facility breakdown issue. Rather, this is a leadership issue.
What a mess. And one of the guys that was caught, actually one of them that was caught is a murderer, I think. Over here it says Kendall Miles, attempted second degree second degree murder, armed robbery with a firearm, discharging a firearm during a violent crime, criminal conspiracy to armed robbery, aggravated flight from an officer, possession of contraband in prison, intentional concealment of weapons, simple criminal damage to property. And previously he has escaped. This is the guy that had previous escapes, I guess. Previously escaped from Bridge City Center for youth in 2022, indicted for a carjacking and shooting incident in uptown New Orleans. Damn, that guy got a long ass rap sheet. Whoa. Whoa.
Have been made for those bookings. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our colonel of the LSP, and he can give you a little bit more information about that. So, Colonel.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, everyone. Robert Hodges, Superintendent, Louisiana State Police. As you see by our support with the FBI, the U.S. Marshals, and other agencies that are in the field right now actively working, ATF, DEA, Homeland Security investigations, all our federal partners, as well as other state partners that aren't here now, probation and parole. We're all working in conjunction with the NOPD, our neighboring sheriffs, to locate the 7 remaining fugitives that escaped from the jail. Our responsibility remains consistent across the state with public safety. Tonight, through the weekend, and however long it takes, we are leveraging all of our equipment, our personnel, our investigative tools and technology to ensure that we locate, apprehend, and bring the 7 remaining to justice. But we can't do it alone. As the chief said, we need your help, and Ms. Costanza from the Crime Stoppers will speak as well to talk about you have to call the tip line, as well as the FBI, and in addition, the State Police Fusion Center at 1-800-925-4192. That's 1-800-925-4192, the State Police Fusion Center. If you have any information regarding the 7 remaining, anything, please call us. We need your help to make Louisiana safe. We recognize that some of these individuals may have left the city and moved out into other parishes and possibly left Louisiana. And that's why we have our federal partners here with us who have leveraged all of their resources to keep not only New Orleans safe, but all Louisiana. So just again, with regard to our role, yes, we will take custody of those prisoners and we'll make arrangements to ensure that they are properly booked and relocated to one of the 8 state prisons in Louisiana. Thank you.
FBI.
Thank you, Chief. Colonel Hodges. Good evening. The FBI remains committed to assisting our state, local, and federal partners in recapturing the remaining 7 inmates who escaped. To do this, we need your help. We appreciate all the tips we've received so far. We have agents and analysts working 24/7 to receive more tips. So please call and help us accomplish this task. It's going to take everybody doing their part to recapture the remaining inmates. If you have any information, and it doesn't matter what time of day, please.
I'm trying to find the 3 locations where they were caught. I think they were said, because I wanted to see if I can map it out. I have to see if I can find somewhere where it has all the locations where they were caught. Okay, Cannon Dennis was nabbed Friday evening near Chef Mounter Highway. I thought there was an article that said its exact location. Found near Chef Mounter Highway. I thought they gave the cross intersection. Let me try that. But I wonder where along the highway. Let me see. The rest of the lamers have violent criminal histories, with officials fearing the convicts could be looking to settle old scores. Yeah, that's a possibility. It's very possible. Oh yeah, French Quarter, right? There was one that was somewhere in the, but they had a specific name. Wasn't it by like because there was one guy hiding under a car in the French Quarter. I'm gonna have to look at which article has all the locations. There was one under a car. There was one by the highway. this. I guess I'll let this presser play while I search.
Please call 1-800-CALL-FBI, or you can submit your tip online by going to fbi.gov/New Orleans fugitives, or contact our Crime Stoppers partners.
Okay, that guy Kendall Miles, that's the guy that has, yeah, that's the one in the French Quarters. Kendall Miles in the French Quarter this morning. I guess that's all you need. Oh, okay, on Royal Street. So French Quarters on Royal Street. Let's we know where Miles was at. French Quarters, Royal Street. That's the one I think that was under a car, right? Royal Street. Okay, perfect. Royal Street. So he wasn't far from the jail at all. If that's right. Yeah, it is. Okay. Is the French Quarter nice? I've never been to the French Quarter. Is it nice over there? It looks like the slums. No, it's supposed to be nice though, right? Royal Street. Okay, so that's one location.
Thank you very much.
Darlene?
In a parking lot under the car. Okay. Oh, thank you for the, yes, there you go. That's the name I was looking for, Shane. Hotel Montelone. Hotel Montelone, right there. Right outside of there. Yeah, right on Royal Street, Hotel Montelone. Perfect. Okay.
Well, first I want to thank y'all who called in or sent in tips online or through our app. And we saw success from that. We have one apprehension because of your tips. And we're just going to, again, encourage you to see the team behind us. All information is being vetted, federal, state, local. That's an incredible network that you should feel so strong about, knowing that public safety is the key here. And taking your information, you're part of that team. So again, with Crime Stoppers, you're going to be anonymous. You know that. You know the number, 822-1111. We have a $2,000 cash reward for each escapee's arrest. The FBI has another $5,000. Make the call, send the tip, don't delay. And thank you.
All right, we'll have one round of questions. We'll start with Box 8.
Do we have any more information about the 3 OPSO employees that were suspended?
Good evening, everyone. Again.
Okay, I got the address for where Moody was caught. The 3500 block of 2nd Street. Oh, I got it. I got all the locations now. Okay, good. I found one article. So Moody was caught on the 3500 2nd Street, New Orleans. So not far either. I'm going to input one more location, and then I'll show you guys the map so we can kind of have a visual. They really didn't go far. And now this Dennis guy, he was apprehended by Chef Mentor Highway and Dale Street. That's what I was looking for, the intersection, because the highway runs along pretty far, a lot of roads, right? Through the city, I guess, but I wanted to know what intersection. So we got the intersection here. Let me add that as well to the GPS. And then we can kind of map it out. Let's see. Oh, they didn't get far at all. They were all within like an hour of the jail. Let's see if I can collapse them. All about within an hour. Let me take this off the screen. I believe the prison was right here, the jail. I don't really know if it's considered a prison. It's more like a jail. Orleans Parish. The guys escaped from here. And let's see. So Moody was captured on a 3500 block. This 3500 here, not far at all. That's where Moody was captured. Now Moody, let's see. What did Moody do? Okay, he was charged with aggravated second battery, illegal carrying of a weapon, obstruction of justice, illegal possession of stolen property, and drug charges. Okay. So this is where Moody was caught. Really not far. You see the map. This is the prison, the jail. That's where Moody was caught. And then the other guy was caught over here. Royal Street. That's the right place? Yeah, Royal Street. Royal Street was this guy, Kendall Miles, right? Let's see, Kendall Miles. Yeah, Kendall Miles in the French Quarter, Royal Street. That guy was hiding under a car, and then here's a picture of Miles because the state police posted it. That's him right there. So this guy, he's the one so far that he had a kind of a extensive criminal history. Attempted second-degree murder, armed robbery with a firearm, discharging a firearm during a violent crime, criminal conspiracy to armed robbery, aggravated flight from an officer, possession of contraband in prison, intentional concealment of a weapon, simple criminal damage to property, and he had a previous escape from Bridge City Center for Youth in 2022 when he was indicted for carjacking and shooting into the long criminal history with that guy. So he was caught. And then, so that's Kendall Miles, Robert Moody, and then I think the most recent one is the Cannon Dennis, 24 years old. So he was caught by the highway. So he's the one that was kind of maybe the furthest away, but not really that far away, maybe an hour away. You know, like so far these guys didn't go that far. They had maybe they didn't have as much help. At least these guys, who knows about the other ones? This guy was caught along the highway, Mentor Highway and Dale Street, in this little neighborhood over here, I guess. I think that's the latest capture. And you see Louisiana State Police. Louisiana. I don't know why I can't find their page. I had their page up. Oh, my keys are sticking now too. There it is. So yeah, this morning they apprehended. Let's see. Well, the search began. These are the apprehensions. I think that's the most recent guy to get caught. So 3 caught, 7 still on the loose. Seven still on the loose, and they really didn't get that far again. 1, 2. I think this was the first guy caught in the French Quarter, I believe. 1, 2, and 3. They really didn't go that far. maybe they didn't have so much, maybe they didn't plan so much. Sometimes you get so much planning on getting out, and once you get out, there's not much of a plan, just to run. The other guys might have a bit of more of a plan.
The point of this press conference tonight is to focus on apprehending the 7 remaining fugitives. We're not going to discuss anything that happened prior to the escape of those offenders or inmates. That needs to remain everyone's focus. So the tips when you call in, please, we need the public's help. It's your city, it's your state. We want it safe for your family, your friends, those who came in town for the high school and college graduations this weekend across the state. We need your help. So I just respect that all the other stations and media that's here, please, questions related to our investigative efforts to apprehend the 7 remaining. Thank you.
I think that's Katie. Is that Katie next?
Katie Rice with CBS News. Question for you. Two questions. First, just in the way you were able to...
That's a good point, too. Twitchy says, who were the inmates jerking on the door? I think the rest escaped because of opportunity. What do you think? That could be very possible. Right? That could be very possible. Let's take a look at the video again. That's very possible. It could be that, let's say there was people... Maybe not necessarily all 10 of them were planning for this, right? Maybe it was just 2 or 3 of them or 4 of them, something planning. And when the opportunity came and they got it open and there was a couple of people, maybe they witnessed, maybe they saw this, say, you know what, fuck it. Or maybe they told their buddies, yo, yeah, we're jumping in on this shit. Maybe they just jumped in on it. Maybe they didn't have as well thought of a plan as the main, the people planning this out. Maybe they just jumped. Maybe those are the guys that are caught immediately. They didn't have a plan. They just jumped in when they could. Get it in where you can fit in.
Morning, an intense manhunt is a New Orleans. Officials say there are indications the prisoners received help from.
And who helped? And was one of these guys shacking up with one of the guards? Was he shacking up with a female? Remember that prisoner escape? Who was that girl? That lady? I don't remember the name. I saw a documentary on it. It was so interesting. That lady that she was shacking up with a guy, and she caught feelings and stuff. I think he was really just using her, but she caught feelings and helped him escape. I watched a show too, a show that these 2 guys manipulated this lady, this prison guard lady. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, I love you, man. I made this for you. He was stitching stuff up in the class. Vicky White, yeah. He was stitching stuff up in the stitching class, little sewing class. I made this for you. He's like, oh my God, he really likes me. I like him. I really like him. And then they got out.
Staff. Katie Weiss is in New Orleans. Katie, good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. So far, 7 of the 10 inmates who escaped from the jail here remain at large this morning, but their daring escape was caught on tape.
A prison camera shows an inmate jiggling a locked door. Then another inmate jumps in to help, using brute force to crack it open early Friday morning in the 10-year-old prison.
And that's what we saw in the video. Tricia said, I think, that they like a year ago there was a video that had come out and they had announced this. Oh, they had some problems with these doors, supposedly, that they would like come off the hinges or something. And so you could see them here tugging at this door or whatever.
Daring escape was caught on tape.
A prison camera shows an inmate jiggling a locked door. Then another inmate jumps in to help, using brute force to crack it open early Friday morning in the 10-year-old prison.
They were still able to exit the jail about 1:01 a.m. after breaching a wall behind a toilet in the jail.
They then are believed to have taken the time to write taunting messages to the guards, saying "too easy" and "laugh out loud" near the plumbing before they bolted out.
They were seen exiting a door on the docks where we normally bring in supplies, scaling a wall and running across the interstate shortly thereafter.
I-10 was also in their route to freedom. Traffic cam video shows the inmates darting across the interstate, dodging speeding cars. At least 3 of the inmates were being held for murder. Derek Groves was convicted in a 2018 Mardi Gras shooting. Police believe the escapees could be armed and dangerous. And in an unsettling revelation, New Orleans Sheriff Susan Hudson says at least one member of the prison staff may have helped the inmates break out.
We have indication that these detainees received assistance in their escape from individuals inside of our department.
Sheriff Hudson also took time at her press conference to lay blame on the city for failing to fund upgrades, including faulty locks on cell doors, saying the sheriff's office asked for help for 5 years.
You said you've been asking for money for a long time. How much money do you need at this point?
The locks alone, I believe, are
$5.2 million.
Yeah,
just for the locks.
Just the locks, $5.2 million.
Louisiana's Attorney General has called the escape beyond unacceptable, saying the public should have been alerted sooner.
Now, so far, 3 of the inmates have been caught. State police even found one inmate hiding under a hotel garage. And we're told that even some of the family members of the escapees have been helping with the search. Dana?
Oh, the family members helping with the wow.
A lot of people anxious.
Of the escapees.
Described about how one of the first inmates that you apprehended was found hiding in a parking garage. Can you explain the details?
Audio's horrible.
Clearly about how
They like purposely did this by a freeway or something. What's going on?
And also then moving forward, do you have evidence that shows any of these folks have left the state at this point?
So we have strong investigative leads on the remaining 7. We're confident that they will eventually be apprehended. With regard to the 3 that are in custody now, they were in various parts throughout the city. Specifically, their apprehension, although we were able to take them all without any trips to seek medical attention, we still had people to ensure, our EMS to ensure that everyone was okay at the scene. But we don't want to really give up the exact how and where we located them specifically. Just know that all investigative tools and technology that law enforcement has were utilized in the apprehension, but none more important than the public's help and giving us that information through Crime Stoppers really is a force multiplier in our investigative efforts.
Okay, Jonah. Hey, you talked to a little bit. We heard about a police presence on Canal Street. Do you know anything about that presence or a fourth suspect? But also, talk to how every second is critical at this point.
Well, for your first part, look, there's police officers, sheriff's deputies, troopers, FBI agents, U.S. Marshals, ATF agents, HSI agents, all over the metropolitan area and throughout the state right now. Yes, every second is critical. As we get leads and tips, we investigate them. For an officer safety perspective, we always want to make sure we have a large group to ensure the safety of the public who's there in that area, as well as those who are working the investigation, and the safe and secure apprehension of those who are fugitives. Each second does count. Certainly, the sooner we can apprehend them, the sooner everyone can be rest assured that they are no longer a threat to the public. These are violent offenders who escaped, and we have to bring them back. And they will go to a state prison.
26.
So there was a shooting in New Orleans East Villa recently. I believe it may have been an officer-related one. Does that have any connection with this situation currently, or is that a completely separate incident?
Right. So it was an event in which there were law enforcement federal partners who were out there actually on surveillance of a target home, and completely independent, they heard gunfire erupt. And when they went to that particular scene, which had nothing to do with this particular investigation, that matter has been dealt with. No one has been injured. No law enforcement was involved in the exchange of gunfire, and it is not connected.
Okay. Last question goes to Channel 4.
What do you guys have to say to the public? You know, there's still 7 people on the run here. We talked to some people in schools that are scared to walk outside. You know, kind of
horrible audio, man. This is horrible. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is like I can't hear nothing.
Anything else right now is to get these people in custody. So I think you can still, fully enjoy graduation ceremonies tomorrow, having dinner out, the things that you would normally do. However, we just ask that you are mindful and you're attentive You call us if you think that something is out of order, you call us. Sometimes people think, well, I don't want to call 911. What if I am wrong? But what if you're right? And so call us. But don't panic. Just simply continue living and enjoying life.
Go out and party, man. Party like it's 1994. Don't worry.
But just be cautious. That's what we have. And we're going to keep you updated until every single one of them are accounted for and back in custody. So we think that based on the leads we've been getting, these are active and real leads. So keep talking to us. We need you.
All right, thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it.
Nolans. Escapees. On the run. Does she question here? They had a Fox thing here.
Let's bring in Louisiana Attorney General Liz Muriel. Attorney General, thank you very much for being here. Give us a sense of what you think happened here. You hear in that soundbite the gap between when they think these people got out and when the public was informed.
Yeah, Martha. So the gap is really, recovering these individuals is obviously our first priority, but that gap in reporting time is extremely concerning. It's my understanding is they were identified as missing at a bed check. So there is some discrepancy on the information that I've received in terms of when they were identified as missing and when the wider law enforcement was notified that they were missing. And, at the state, if this happened at a state prison, then there would be immediate notification to law enforcement so that all the surrounding law enforcement agencies could engage and assist in containing these individuals, whoever they might be, from getting any further than they could possibly get. And here they've had a lot of lead time, which is very concerning.
So you're saying that they were discovered missing at bed check. What time is that?
Look, I've got a lot of questions. I don't have all the answers yet. Right now, our priority is recovering these individuals, but these are all questions that I intend to get answers to. The initial information that I received is that they were.
Sally on Facebook, thank you, says, Mel, you have to understand Louisiana, Houston, Galveston, on and on are close areas. And there's a lot of people that live and travel back and forth city to city. It's a very serious situation. My granddaughter works in Louisiana. I'm very worried and scared for her to be out there. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope she's safe. I think for the most part, people will be safe, but you have to be for sure cautious. Definitely be cautious. And you never know. Yeah, you never know. I mean, it would be a travesty if these people kill somebody while they're loose. That's when heads are really going to have to roll. If somebody gets injured because of this escape, somebody gets killed because of this,
identified as missing at a bed check. That can happen at a lot of different times in the evening, but common sense would tell you that it happens probably sometime between 10 o'clock and later. My understanding is that they escaped around midnight, and so regardless of what time the bed check was, we know that they had a lot of lead time before wider law enforcement was notified that they were missing.
Okay, I want to play this from Ann Kirkpatrick, who I think the country has become a bit familiar with through a number of issues in New Orleans, including the attack on the 1st of January. This is Ann Kirkpatrick, New Orleans Police Department Superintendent. This was earlier today. Watch.
It's more than likely that someone had help.
Yeah.
And that they are not running around in a jumpsuit. But if they were,
well, somebody got caught. There was actually somebody that got caught in a jumpsuit, I thought, right? I thought somebody actually got caught in a jumpsuit.
You're going to stand out, right? And so that's a fair question, but it's unlikely.
So she says, is it more likely that someone had help and that they are not running around in a jumpsuit, the attire that they would be wearing in this facility? If they were, that's going to be very likely to stand out. What is your gut, or based on any information that you have so far, telling you about whether or not someone helped?
Were there guards? Well, apparently they're saying, I just saw a video somewhere. They said that there was, I believe, 36 staff. I don't know if they're all guards, but there was 36 staff members working at the time.
Them to get out.
Well, the whole thing is.
Yeah, this one guy, I believe, was caught in his jumpsuit.
Currently under investigation. My gut would tell me that they probably did have some help. I think that we want to caution people now in the community not to help them, because they too will be charged as accessories to escape, or principals to escape. And so they're going to be facing charges too. I mean, we will recover these individuals. They will have additional charges. They are dangerous. And so we want to protect the people that they might be a danger to now, but they could be a danger to anybody in the community if they're trying to get resources to get further away.
Absolutely. Just one example, Antoine Massey is charged with domestic abuse, battery, and strangulation. He's just one of these individuals. Illegal weapons carrying, simple burglary of a dwelling, intentional concealment of weapons. So obviously there's a lot of concern with these individuals, and there's a look at them. I would urge everybody, not just in Louisiana, who knows where some of these people may have gotten to since midnight last night. And there are images that are circulating about how they may have gotten out of this facility. We're going to hear from this news conference and get an update on all of this in about 9 minutes from now. So we ask everyone to stay tuned for that. Attorney General Liz Muriel, thank you very much for being here.
All right. So far, those are the updates this morning. Another person has been caught. So 3 caught, 7 still on the loose. And I think the worst ones are still on the loose. And I showed this map as well. I did show a map, or did I delete it already? I was showing a map earlier, the locations that were caught. I'm assuming, and I'm thinking at some point today they'll do, I would hope so, they do like a presser update. Maybe they're kind of a little hesitant because they've caught a lot of heat. People have a lot of questions. People are pushing for what's going on. People are saying there's a leadership issue over there. And people are concerned. People are, people are worried. They're telling people, "Oh no, it's okay. Just continue about your day. Don't be worried. Just, go about your day like normal. You better lock your doors. Protect yourselves in your homes. Be cautious." Let me see if I see anything here. Anything on the world of X? And they guys got out. They were running. They made a mockery out of those officials. Too easy, LOL. Oof. And who was the people that helped? 3 people suspended. 3 people that work at this jail suspended. New Orleans Parish Jail. Let me see if I can find something real quick too, because I know it's like a video or something. Let's see. Orleans Parish Jail. Damn, key got stuck. This is absurd.
Elected officials who have been at that event. Alyssa, you have DA Jason Williams with you.
Yes, Katie, I'm joined now by DA Jason Williams to talk.
I almost forgot about this last night when we were watching. This was so crazy.
And some questions that we had here. David, can you give us an update on what you just heard? Because there was so much that was out.
This lady was so pissed. Her eyes.
That was when that monitor was going to go on the break. When the monitor came back from the break, she had no idea that anybody had left. They had then gathered in a single cell and were able to escape that way. And, there are 200 officers out there now. They were talking about high rewards for anybody with any information. They were also talking about protecting witnesses who testified against these inmates, one of whom was actually convicted recently of murder. And they have very grave concerns about the safety of the witnesses in those cases.
Just skip forward a little bit. Let's show the clip of the lady. That lady last night was something else. Oh, they don't show it here? They just had her in the thumbnail? That lady was a trip. Oh, here it is. They showed it at the end. Yo, this
So
lady
right
here.
now, we can't afford a maintenance service contract. We have maintenance staff that are on board that do the day-to-day. But right now, our current budget sits at about 68 million. 41.1 million comes from the city, 13 million comes from the millage, and about 10.1 million a quarter is given to us. Right now, our payroll is about 9.6. Our food expenses is 780,000 a quarter. That eats up the money. We don't have the funding available to have a full maintenance contract to do this. We've explained this on multiple occasions. Just on Monday, we went to the City Planning Commission and we reported this out. We asked for the money to secure this. So the funding is not available to do what needs to be done.
So if your
and it
conditions
hasn't
are
been done.
not
They cut it out. She was like, "What's your question? What's your question?" I hope we see that reporter today. I hope he's okay. We need to do a welfare check on that guy. There was one reporter that he was like spicy, man. I don't know what that guy was on. He was spicy, pressing. Because people are concerned. People are pissed. People are concerned. So maybe he's the voice for the people, you know. I was like, make sure. I don't know if they're going to let that guy back into the media pool. I think he was with NBC or something. Oh, man. All right, let me see if we got anything else. I will tap in later today to, if they got an update or a press conference. I just wanted to give the updates this morning. 3 caught. We still have, let me just recap a little bit real quick on who's still out. So they caught Kendall, Robert, and Deeknan. Okay, they caught the young guys. One's 20, one's 21, the other one's 24. Still at large, Derek Groves. Maybe I should put the pictures on the screen so you guys can put a face to the names while I'm saying it. Okay. So yeah, Derek's still at large, and this guy has 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder. So 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree murder. That's the guy that shot up a Mardi Gras in 2018. Then we got Corey Boyd, 19 years. So Derek is 27. Corey Boyd, 19 years old. Second-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder. So these murderers are on the loose. Attempted murderers, too. Jermaine Donald, 42 years old. Another one with second-degree murder, an aggravated battery, possession of firearm. Another person, Lenton Van Buren, 26 years old. Or it says 27 there. What I have here says 26, but illegal carrying of weapons, possession of firearm by felon. And then Leo Tate, 31 years old. Second degree murder, attempted second. So these people, very dangerous criminals on the loose that probably have nothing to lose but their life and don't want to go back to be stuck in for life. You know what I mean? Antoine Massey, 32 years old, and this guy was like a domestic violence person, strangling somebody and theft of a vehicle. And then Gary Price, 21 years old, 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder. Holy crap. 7 counts. 2 counts of second-degree battery, aggravated assault with a firearm, false imprisonment with a weapon, DA, domestic, simple assault, aggravated criminal damage to property, resisting an officer. So you got your line of the pick there. Holy moly, the people that got out. Wow. Oof. So if you're out there in those areas, be cautious, be on high alert when you're coming in and out of your house. If you don't have cameras, be careful, because you don't know if these people, find some place to hide out. They break into your house. You're out shopping. You're out for a couple of days, whatever. You come back and there's somebody in your house. Or somebody waiting for you when you walk out your door or anything, just to try to hide out or whatever. And I really believe it might be like Twitchy said. Some of them were probably planning this, I'm sure, and working on it and had a plan. And then there was maybe a few other guys that just saw the opportunity. Oh, these guys are escaping. Shit, I'm going to jump in too. And just ran out. Never really had a plan just to start running. Some of them might have just ran. Just last minute saw the opportunity, Puddin' Tame said, remember when y'all wanted to defund the police? No, not shopping for a couple days. I meant like if you're shopping for a couple. Oh, I was going to say it again. If you're shopping or you like leave for a couple days. Yeah, that's the location of the jail. Shop. Twitcher said Donald and Van Buren, I think, are the masterminds. Crazy. So there's a massive search. They're probably going to have to change their appearance, maybe change their look, cut their hair, grow their hair, dye the hair, shave your face, shave your eyebrows. Shit, man, I'd probably shave the beard and the mustache. Just shave it all off. Put some contacts in. This guy with the face tattoos is very recognizable, I guess. He's very distinct. Got the face tattoos. Tate Leo, 31 years old. The video of the escape. Marky was saying a light-skinned guy was the one tugging on the door. Let's see again. There we go. They just pulled the door off the hinges. The other person comes. Need to bring back Prison Break or a whole new series of Prison Break. Look at him. Yeah, he's using his foot, pulling on the door. Oh, shit. Yeah. When there's a will, there's a way, they say. This guy just walking by. He's probably like a lookout or so. He's just casually walking by like nothing. Again, walking by. You know what? Let me help out this. Is he the one that helps? Or no, he's just walking by. Okay. There's somebody else in the orange. Two guys at it now. Two guys at it. I already had everything pulled up on the map. The addresses. Oh. Felony Friday. I had all the locations pulled up on the map. It's Friday night and I feel alright. Party's here on the west side. I'm so good in my hood tonight. That boys was celebrating. Thank you. Woo, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sheriff. Yeah, thank you. It's the new year, baby. Thank you for being so lax on crime. Yeah, woo. Right. The Riddler. All right, I guess that's it for now. Thank you so much for subscribing, Sean Lady. Thank you for the people on Facebook for hitting the like button. Thank you for C Poetic Justice. Thank you so much. We were on Twitch this morning too for a little bit, just Twitch only. I was watching the guy, the Diddy supporter, get arrested again. I jumped on just for a little bit. We watched the Diddy supporter, and what else? Oh, the Antonio Brown got into a fight last night. We were watching that earlier. All right, pimps. Peace. Catch you guys later. Nobody's watching the cameras. Nobody. Catch you guys later. Sign up to the mailing list too, okay? So don't miss the lives anymore. Don't miss any more live streams. Just put your email address there, and every time I go live, it shoots an automatic email. All right, I'll catch you guys later. We'll update it once we get more updates. If somebody's caught, somebody's arrested. Does this work? Oh, it does work. If somebody's caught, somebody's arrested, new updates. I'll bring up the map again later. I'll input all the locations. Inmates, real quick too. They just dropped this article. Oh, not really, actually. 9:54. Not really. This has been out for a little bit. I'll watch this real quick. The Riddler.
To that breaking news, a manhunt underway for 7 inmates still on the run more than 24 hours after escaping from the Orleans Parish Jail. We learned overnight that another 2 escapees were recaptured, bringing the total number to 3. WDSU reporter Ariel Brumfield joining us live from the sheriff's office, where she is tracking those latest developments. And Ariel, we now know where those inmates are in custody this morning, or do we know?
Well, Morgan, we are told that those 3 captured inmates are now in the custody of LSP officials. They were moved to a different facility than the jail right behind me. We have new images that we received showing those newly captured inmates in handcuffs. They were getting into a helicopter with officials, but the search still remains for those 7 inmates still on the run. Now, we are showing you those pictures that we received from officials this morning of those 3 captured inmates. That is DeKeenan, Dennis, Kendall Miles, and Robert Moody. 7 still on the run and being sought after. To recap, officials say 10 inmates escaped the OPSO jail early Friday morning. They entered a cell, removed a toilet, adjusted the piping and plumbing, escaped through a wall, and then scaled a fence. Law enforcement caught Kendall Miles yesterday hiding under a car in the French Quarter. Robert Moody was found in Central City, and then late last night, DeKeenan Dennis was found in New Orleans East. We know that when the escape happened, there were about 4 supervisors and 36 staff members on shift overnight here at OPSO, but Sheriff Hudson says the jail is still understaffed by about 60%. Now, the media was not notified of the escaped inmates until close to 10 a.m. yesterday morning. Officials still working to bring those last 7 men in.
It does not matter.
Is that Koberger's face? I can't tell. Is that...
But we will deem all escapees as Louisiana state prisoners. They will be LSP's prisoners. They will not be booked into the Orleans Parish, and other arrangements have been made.
We recognize that some of these individuals may have left the city and moved out into other parishes and possibly left Louisiana. And that's why we have our federal partners here with us who have leveraged all of their resources to keep not only New Orleans safe, but all Louisiana.
And as a reminder, there is a reward for anyone who can provide information about the inmates. $2,000 per inmate is going to be given by Crime Stoppers. That number is 822-1111. The FBI also offering a $5,000 reward.
Okay. All right. That's it. W, thank you so much. Appreciate the 5. All right, guys. I'll catch you later. Thank you, Mike, for the follow on Twitch. Thank you. Appreciate the support over there.